This lesson, I'm going to walk you through how you can set up Node as well as install Package Manager and then pull in the JSON server package, which we're going to be using in the upcoming lessons. So first of all, go over to nodejs.org. If you already have Node installed, then you can skip ahead to where we grab the JSON server package. And if you don't have Node installed, then go ahead and select Node, download Node for your system, and go through the Node install. And once you have Node installed, you can go ahead and you can open up your terminal. And I'll make this a little bit bigger because it is kind of small there. And with the terminal, you could navigate through to where you want to use, where you're building out your sites. So in my case, I've got a folder and I call it sites. So I'll CD over into sites, and I can list out and I can see the different sites that I have available. And I'm going to create a brand new directory here, and I'm going to call it JSON DB. And now if I list it out, and I can change directory and go into JSON DB. And in order to check to see if Node is installed, you can type in node-v. So if you are getting a response back, you're ready to move on to the next step. If you still don't see anything there, if it comes up that Node is not found, you've got to make sure that Node is installed before you can proceed to the next step. And the next step is going to be using npm, so that's Node Package Manager. And right now it comes as a default when you download Node, so it gets installed as well. So when you've got the latest version of Node installed, you're ready to go with Package Manager. And with Package Manager, there's 475,000 plus packages here all ready to go, and they all do some really amazing things. So the one that we're going to be looking at is JSON Server, and basically it allows us to create a full fake REST API. So zero coding, sets it up in 30 seconds, and seriously, like they say, truly amazing, truly great to be able to have this type of resource so that you can practice working with JSON and Ajax all together locally right on your system. And this will give you the ability to do that. And it's a really flexible database that gets installed, so you can update and you can create your own key values and as well as key names that you can use within your database. So it's a JSON formatted type data system. So essentially a JSON server, like it says, you can put, you can post, you can get, you can patch, you can delete. So all of this is available within this system. So let's go ahead and set it up. So the way to bring that in is to do the Node Package Manager install. So the -G is for global install of the JSON server. So let's go ahead and do the install. So as long as you've got Node up and running, you should be good to move on to the next step, and that's going to be getting the JSON up and running. And eventually you're going to have to get into the directory that you want to run this from, but for now, we're fine with running it directly within a global install, so it actually doesn't matter what directory you're in. It's going to be installed globally on your system. So open up your terminal, and also a Windows machine works the same way. The only thing that's different is the ls won't work. You have to type dir for directory. The CDs work, so changing directory, you can move into the different directories. You can go back out of directories as well, so cd --, and that brings you out to the previous directory, the parent directory. And then if you want to move back into the one that you want to access, you just do cd and type in its name, and that will move you back into the right directory, or the directory that you want to use, of course. So let's go ahead and do our install. So npm install. So this is to install packages, and as mentioned, we're going to do it globally, so we do it -G. If you want to install it within that one directory that you're in, you don't have to include the -G. So this is for a global install, but it is a really useful application. So usually I will recommend to install it globally. So go ahead and type in npm install -G JSON server. And so that will run through the install. And if you get an error message just like this, the permission denied, that means that you don't have super user access to the files, and basically your permissions are denied. So then go ahead and type in sudo and npm install, and then try the same line of code, so -g JSON server. And this time it's going to ask you a password for your system, so go ahead and enter in your password. And once you do that, then you're going to be able to continue with the install. And this time it's actually going to install. So it's not going to give you the permission denied because I was using the super user. So that's the quick way around. If you have any of these permission errors, this is the quickest way around. Just do it as a super user. So once you're up and ready to go, you can launch the JSON server. And that's really all there is to it to set this up and get this going. And there is a default to get this started. So you can do JSON server, so JSON-server, and then you could do db.json. So this will create that JSON database, and it also gives you where the location of posts, comments, profile is. And next, let's hook this up and bring it into our editor so that we can write some code. So now that we've got this set up, let me open up our menu here, and I want to go down to that site. So I'm going to open the folder, and the folder is this new one that I've created. So let's go ahead and open that up. So if I go to localhost 3000 posts, let me show you what happens. So open up your browser. So you see that something is happening. It's actually showing you all of the post information. So I'm going to make this one a little bit smaller here because you're going to be able to see when you're making posts as well within the terminal. So we'll keep it open. But if I open up this db.json that got created, we see that the posts got created over here. So it's got ID 1, title, author, it's got comments, it's got profile. So if you wanted to see the comments, you could just type in comments in the URI. And also, lastly, they also have another option here as well. So if you want to see the profile, basically what it's doing is it's spitting that out within a JSON format. So you could do profile as well. So really the idea here is that it's taking whatever that main object here is, and it's outputting it here within the usable format here, and it's simply taking it and outputting it as JSON. So you can try this out for yourself. Go ahead, set this up and get this running, and then open up localhost port 3000, and then just go to posts, comments, and profile. And coming up, I'll show you even more stuff that you can do with this. So this is really great. And once you've got this set up and running, you're pretty much ready to go. There's also some customizations you can do, and there's a ton of different options that you can do with JSON. You can do all of this. You can generate random data as well. So this one here, they've got a little code snippet here to generate 1,000 users. So instead of running db.json, we could run json-server index.js. And then within the index.js file, you can create all of these users, and this will run off of this database. So if you do have a data, or if you have data that you want to use within this exercise, you can include it in a JS file and simply import it and bring that data directly into your project. So you can start working with your data as well. If you want some fake data, there's Faker over here, and there's a bunch of fake data that you can pull in. So these are some different packages that you can pull in. But we are going to be building this out from scratch. So we're going to be working with what the defaults here are, and of course you are welcome to customize it as well. You can also customize your ports. So you've got options on the port. So by default it's port 3000. You can set the host. You can get config information. So there's a ton of different things that you can do here. There's also a help here, so in case you want some more additional information. And keeping in mind, we are going to be going over quite a bit of this stuff coming up, as well as we are working off of that default install because this is a beginner's introductory course. So we're going to keep it at a beginner level where we're not going to get too complex with configuration within the command line. But you are welcome to try this out for yourself. So next lesson, let's jump right in and try this out. So that's coming up.